let's start in South Africa. The president there, Jacob Zuma, has ordered the finance minister, Pravin Gordhan, to abort a week-long roadshow meeting with investors and ratings companies in London and the United States. And that in turn has heightened concern that he probably is preparing for a cabinet reshuffle. Gordhan left South Africa to lead a delegation. He said by phone, however, that he was carrying on with his plans to meet investors in London. Now, speculation is rife that Mr. Gordhan is on the verge of being fired, and this has swirled around for months on end as he's repeatedly clashed with the president over the management of state-owned companies and the National Tax Agency as well. While Gordhan has led efforts to keep spending in check and defend for junk credit rating, Mr. Zuma, however, wants to embark on what he describes as radical economic transformation to tackle decades of racial inequality and widespread poverty. A Treasury spokesperson referred all queries to the presidency when contacted by text and by email. Let's get more data now on this developing story from Angelo Coppola. He joins us now live from Johannesburg. Angelo, this is going to be a bit disturbing for a lot of our viewers. So let's put this into context. What's the legal basis for the argument that a minister can be recalled because the head of state, according to one source, did not give him permission for the trip? I mean, surely ministers have leeway to set their own work plans without being micromanaged by the head of state, don't they?
Well, we understand that the president actually did sign off on the trip initially. We haven't seen the letter itself, but we understand that the green light was given, which makes the so-called recall of Gordhan all the more strange and weird. The president's terse statement also instructs the deputy minister of finance to return to South Africa, when in fact he hadn't even left the country yet. In terms of micromanagement, some analysts suggest that this is the nature of this presidency, specifically with those ministers that are closely aligned to the president. We're also continuously reminded that the ministers serve at the pleasure of the president and can issue instructions and fire ministers and deputy ministers as he sees fit, Rama.
Indeed. Of course, something else also came up today. Nothing in the ANC's National Executive Council meeting today, according to the ANC's Secretary General, Gwede, in his words, had anything to do with the recall. So that said, should we still expect a cabinet reshuffle? Because rumors around that have been flying around for months now.
Well, it's interesting that Mantashe actually said that there was no discussion in the NEC about, or whether Zuma had actually said anything about Gordhan and cancelling his trip. It's interesting because while strictly speaking it's true, it's understood that the president was at Luthuli House today, and that was after the president issued his Gordhan instruction. So it's unlikely the NEC members that were present at Luthuli House didn't discuss the president's action. And judging by the action on the ZAR and the US dollar spot price, the rumors are rife. We also understand that the ANC's top 6 officials are meeting this evening. Whether it's about any kind of cabinet reshuffle or not, we don't know. But it does seem that analysts aren't sure who's in trouble, whether it's Gordhan or Jonas. Rama?
Indeed. So a lot of pieces moving around on the chessboard, but not clear exactly what the end game is here. Let's talk about the rand, though. It tanked from nearly 12.30 to the dollar, losing about 2.5% down to 12.76 at one point in trading. How does this play, though, into South Africa's efforts, or should we say Mr. Gordhan's efforts, to avoid a credit ratings downgrade?
Well, in fact, those spot prices actually got worse in late afternoon trade, closing at around 12.76 last time I checked. Analysts say that the latest presidential gaffe and the ZAR's reaction reinforces the policy uncertainty concerns raised by the rating agencies at the last round of ratings announcements that were made in December. That sentiment today was also echoed by the country's banking association. What makes the instruction more concerning is that we haven't heard any reason yet from Zuma about why he issued that missive, and this adds more credence to the agency's concerns. Talk of a downgrade may be premature, but it's been suggested that we may have moved a step closer than we were on Friday. Raman?
Indeed. One last question for you, Angelo. Is there possibly any coincidence between this recall coming through for Minister Gordhan and his deputy and the filing of papers by a Gupta-owned company, Sahara Computers, which is demanding that the minister be present in court in person?
Well, that's all part of the speculation. The rumor mill and the conspiracy theorists have been having a field day today. If one subscribes to the theory that the Guptas control the presidency, then the recall makes sense because it's an important court case that's happening tomorrow if you're a Gupta-owned company. On the other hand, if you subscribe to the theory that the president has been looking for an excuse to sack his finance minister, then this could be a precursor to that. But South Africans, as you know, have been living with these rumours since the president was apparently forced to reappoint Gordhan. And we haven't seen a cabinet reshuffle yet. But with Brian Molefe being manoeuvred back into Parliament, we may see some action sooner rather than later. Either way, Raman, we live in interesting and weird times.
Indeed, very Machiavellian times indeed. Angela Kopla in Johannesburg, thank you for that.